Come on down, young man. Say hello to Santiago Arana from the agency.
All these chairs for me?
So, you teach a course every year, once or twice?
Once a year.
Once a year. Think and Grow Rich, written by who?
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. What does that mean to you?
That's the truth.
Come on up.
All right. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you again. Wow, they've redone this whole thing, huh?
Yep.
Awesome, I love it. Well, that's a book that I read probably more than 20 times. And there are people in my company that come and I do a course that I do every year in September. It's a 12-week course that we cover 2 chapters per week. We meet every Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning and we go over the book and then experiences that each of those individuals are having with the book, and I just share basically my personal experience. To me, that's the truth. I mean, like, I lived my life by it, and I'm a very, very strong believer that whatever you can believe and is in your mind, it becomes a reality. But it's not something that happens like this. So there's a lot of work in between, knowing what you want, number one, which a lot of people don't really know what they want. And I always give the example, if you get in a taxi or an Uber and you don't know where you're going, that's going to be a very expensive trip and it's going to take you nowhere. So first you need to know where you're going, and then after you know that, then there is certain things that you need to do, and then there's a lapse of time that is going to be in between there to get to that point. So,
why do you set goals?
Well, why not? There's a number of reasons why. I mean, I set different kind of goals. I set, personal goals, obviously business goals, physical goals. You can just spread them out different kind of goals. And the reason why you set goals is it helps you keep in track of where you are from your goal. Because we as humans have a tendency to kind of like get out of our pattern. We get excited, we go to a course, we hear a video or something, or we read a book, and we're all fired up, and 3 weeks later, then we're not doing it, or we're starting to get off course. By having goals, and not only just having them, but I write them down, or I take a picture of it, or I put them in front of me, you need to remind every morning what that goal is, because you need to be constantly reminding yourself that there's your goal, and you're starting to go this way, you need to get back on track. So that's what I set goals. And also the other important reason why you set goals is when you set a goal that is bigger than what you thought that you can achieve and you get it done, is what on all these books and everything is called the creative process, right? Now it's worked. Now your level of confidence and your level of faith is raised to a whole different level because you set a goal that you thought was going to be impossible, and then you achieved it, and now all of a sudden the impossible became possible. So now what's next? Oh, let's set something bigger. So that's the reason why I do it.
All right, so you had a goal this year, like last year, of 500 million.
Yep.
Right? And last year you got to what, 430?
421.
421. All right?
Close.
Close.
Not really, but close.
So, 2 weeks ago, I'm in your office, and you're about 100 million short of last year, right?
Yeah.
Give or take.
Give or take.
And you were pissed. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because I'm not there. I see that, for whoever's in the business, I'm assuming the majority of the people here are in the real estate business. You know that when the holidays hit and Thanksgiving comes and everything, you have a limited amount of time to open escrows. And escrows normally take a period of time also, right? So the time's ticking. Like, literally, you need to open escrows in the next 2 weeks, that they are under 45 days, that they're quick close, and hope that they're going to close this year so they can account to to this year's goals. So I was pissed last week when you came 2 weeks ago, because I see the years coming and I'm not getting there, right? And not to mention that I probably have about, I was looking at yesterday, 130 million fell out of escrow this year. So that
130 million that fell out of escrow.
Yeah, and different deals, obviously.
Right, that's a career for most people. Go ahead.
So but I also learned through Steve that you set a goal and you work for that goal, and sometimes you don't get to that goal. In 2015, 2016, yes, 2016, it was the first time I said to have the goal of 500 million. And that was the year that actually went lower than the year before, and I did only 380. And I was kind of like, I asked Steve, I said, should I adjust my goal to 400 for next year? And he was like, no! You heard him yell, right? So he said, no, that's your goal, and just you keep that goal until you get to that goal. So I set it again for last year, and I did 421, so it was much better. And I was convinced 100% that this year was going to be the year that I hit 500. I think it's possible. I have to sell Owlwood and a couple other things. So definitely it's possible, it's there. But I think the thing that Steve's trying me to tell you is that don't get discouraged because you don't get there. I don't get discouraged. I was upset last week, and then I snapped out of it, and I got back in my state, and I opened a bunch of escrows. So I am getting to where I want to be, which is more than what I did last year. Maybe I'll get to the 500, maybe not, but I feel good about myself, and there's always 2019, right?
So, I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, Santiago set a goal to open and close 100 million before the end of the year. 2 months to open and close 100 million. Talk about that.
Yeah, I thought that that'll be a good goal, and I thought that if I can achieve that, I'll be very happy and excited through the holidays. So I started to just focus on that, and I opened probably 4 escrows that equals about 80. So I'm almost there. I mean, literally, like just that's happened just by making a point. And there's a lot of stuff that goes in between, right? I get off track like everybody does. And we all get off track and we all get upset, but the ability of snapping out of it is what I think gets you to go to the next level. I used to have an escrow and fell out of escrow and be so bummed out and think about it and think about what could have done right and what was the mistake and why this and call the client, are you sure you're making a mistake, and all these things that doesn't really get you to move along. Well, now it's like you look at it, okay, bummer, next. And then you just move to the next one and move to the next one. That allows the energy to continue to flow. And that's what happened to me in the literally last 10 days.
So what are some of the crazy things that you do to keep yourself focused and motivated? Like jumping in the ocean.
Right. So I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that heard this. So sorry if I have to repeat for a lot of you. But, you know, I've gone to a lot of Tony Robbins events, and one of the most important things that I learned out of those seminars is that you need to change your physiology. Like all your body needs to be engaged, you know, because you have every cell needs to be engaged, every single thing needs to be engaged for you to get your mojo going, right? So when you wake up in the morning, you know, be active, go do something that creates an activity in your body and your cells, so gets you to be at a higher speed of vibration, I think. So one of the things that has worked for me in different levels is, example, I was in Miami on Monday, and I just came back on Wednesday. It was a quick trip. I went to speak at an event and then to check on an office that we just opened in Boca. And I was just literally disconnected of what I do, because there's a dinner invitation there, and there's drinks here, and there is this and that, and I'm very methodical on the week of what I do. Like, I don't drink during the week. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I meditate for half an hour. I'm at the gym at 5:30. I jump at the ocean at 6:30. So I do all these things, and I go home, and I need to take my kids to breakfast. And it's almost like, you know, I'm OCD too, so if any of those things don't work really well, like I feel like my day is going to be a little shaky. So it's almost like this check mark that I go through the day that I have to do. So by 8 o'clock, I'm fully on the business, on the office, on phones, on emails, on showings, or whatever it comes. And when I go to these trips, I feel like I get a little bit taken out of that. And so I landed, and as soon as I land, I turn on my phone off airplane mode. And the first thing I see is an escrow that's canceling, that was supposed to close on Monday. Right, so
and it wasn't a small escrow, was it?
That was a big one. It was a big one, and you know, that's the last thing you want to see when you land, right? But between I read it and I went to the baggage claim, I already figured out how I can bring it back together, and I have a plan. So I actually got excited about it in a weird way. Like I was super bummed out, and then I just snapped out of it really quick, and I was like, I think I have a solution. So by the time I was in the baggage claim, I was already talking with the agent on the other side to tell them what my plan was, and they thought it was brilliant, and we're working it right now. I have a very strong feeling that we're going to get it back. I think it's going to have to go through the process, but I think next week we should be able to put it together.
Okay. So you land, you go to baggage claim.
Yes.
Then what?
So now I'm back in my town. I go to my house and see my family, and I feel good about it. And I go and drink my green juice that I drink every day that I wasn't drinking for the last 3 days, and little things like that, you know, that you just feel good that you do. And I say, okay, tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to meditate tonight because I do that at night before I sleep. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and my routine is going to start again. So I started by meditating. I went to my CrossFit training, which almost killed me. And
talk about that a little bit.
So I decided I exercise a lot. I do martial arts. I go to the gym 6 times a week. And I felt like I was a little bored with what was happening. So I wanted to challenge myself. So I decided to go to CrossFit to give it a shot, not knowing what that really meant. And not only that, I decided to hire a champion at CrossFit, this girl that, I mean, is the strongest person I met in my life. So we went into this really, really intense training yesterday, and I couldn't move when I finished. Literally, I was like, I can't do anything else. I don't know how I'm going to get to my car.
She said she wanted you to do what? 100?
Yes, so the way how CrossFit works, I don't know if you've ever been there, but they want your heart to come out of your throat, basically, at the same time that you're lifting the heaviest weight that you're ever going to lift. And I think I'm in a good shape. Like, I exercise a lot. So the training for the day, and it's every day different. The day yesterday was, it starts by running around the block, then you go in, and you have 1 hour, and you need to finish your workout in 1 hour. The first half an hour, it was doing pull-ups on the bar, adding weight into your legs. So you do as many pull-ups as you can do, and then you add 5 pounds, and then you do as many as you can do, and then you do another 5 pounds, and you do as many as you can do until you fail, basically. So after that half an hour, there are these exercises that are called thrusters, or something like that. Yes. So you basically grab, you know, a very decent, you know, weight of dumbbells, and the exercises, you go all the way down, right? And then you lift up, and you go all the way up. So it's a full body exercise. So I need to do 100 of those in half an hour. I was like, oh, I can do that. So I said, I'm going to hit as many as I can first to start. So I did 20. And after I did 20, you are not allowed to rest. And if you want to stop and put them down, you need to do burpees in between. So burpees is your rest time. So I was, right? So I was doing that, which I didn't know what it was. I never heard of that expression. And,
it's not burping, by the way.
Yes. So I was like, I was getting more tired of doing the burpees. I'm like, I'm gonna just go and do it again. So I lift the things again, and I put them up, and I start, and I go 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, I think I can do another 20. I got to number 6, and I was like, I don't think I can do 10. But that's a perfect example because she was looking at me, and I was like, I think 100's a lot. And she was like, you're not gonna give up on me. It's all here, nothing to do with your body, nothing to do with your strength. This sport is all about what's above your head. And I'm like, I'm usually good at that. I can do this. So I did 10, and I was like literally dying. And I went to do the burpees again. And then she's like, okay, you have only 70 to go. And I'm like, okay. So I went and did another 10. Okay, now I'm 40. And I'm looking at her, and she's like, that's me, and I'm looking at her, and she's like this. Not even looking at me, because she didn't want to do the eye contact, because she knows that I was trying to look for like some mercy. And I look back, and I'm like, fuck, and I go and lift the things again. Point is, I got to 60, and no kidding, I needed to go to the bathroom to do everything that you can do in a bathroom, okay? And I could not walk, I was shaking, and I was like, how am I gonna get to my car? So I tasted blood in my mouth. My heart was, I never felt it like that. I was like, not in a good place. And I was like, I think I maybe overdid it a little bit, maybe flying, maybe the change of time. I didn't eat healthy. So and that's your mind. This is the thing. Your mind starts to basically fuck with you, right? It starts to tell you all the things that take you off track. So she was like, look, we ran out of time. You did 60. Next time, nothing less than 100. I said, done. So we finished, and I'm walking to my car, and I'm like, well, I was supposed to go and jump in the ocean, but I don't think I can do it. I'm extremely tired. I probably depleted my body. I'm going to go and get in the cold water. There was this breeze that was freezing. I'm in Venice, and I have to walk like 8 blocks to get to the ocean. And then this huge, a piece of sand that is really hard to walk on. And literally, I said, I'm just going to do it. So I started walking, and I started walking, and I started walking, and it was so hard to walk in the sand because I was so tired that every single cell in my body was saying, don't do this, right? And my mind, I had about 10 minutes to try to convince myself why I shouldn't get in that cold water, that I could do tomorrow, you don't need to get sick right now. I mean, every single excuse you can think. And I was like, I'm not going to let this happen. And the reason why I do these crazy things that he calls is because I think that you need to show your mind who the boss is and what you can do. So I just got to the water, I took off my clothes, and I said, I'm doing this. And I just jumped in the water, and it was freaking cold. And I went in there, and I stayed there for like about 10 minutes, and the water wasn't actually that cold after a little bit. And I have these amazing experiences that every time I go there, I see the waves coming, and this can be just my own thing in my mind. That's why I encourage everybody to find their own thing. I'm not saying let's all go and jump in the ocean, okay, by the way. But I release negative energy, and I release bad thoughts and the things that happen and the escrow that fell out. So I think about all those things that are bothering me, and when I jump in the ocean, I just let them go. And when I come out of the water, I start actually thinking about all the great things that I want them to happen, right? So I just start thinking about all that, and I'm grateful, and I look around, and it's beautiful. It's freezing, but it's beautiful. There's no one there. The sun's coming out. The ocean is blue. The smoke is gone, which is also something that makes me feel good about that horrible disaster that just happened in Malibu. So now it's a combination of this great positive feeling and energy, and my body feels good, because your blood obviously went to all my organs to try survival mode. That's what happens when you get cold, is your blood rushes in to protect your liver, your heart, and all the organs for you to survive. And when you get out of it, then the blood goes back to places, and you can just literally, I couldn't feel my toes, and then you can just feel the blood rushing back into your body, and it's an amazing feeling, right? So that's what I do, those crazy things. Because after that, I got to take a call from this client, no problem. I just went in the water.
So I wanted him to share that story because the question is, are you willing to take yourself beyond anything that's comfortable? How comfortable, do you want to be comfortable or you want to be uncomfortable every day?
Both. I want to be uncomfortable first in order to be comfortable.
Yeah, you want to get comfortable being uncomfortable, correct?
Basically. Yeah, you become, I don't know if addicted is the right word, but you kind of just look for that pain and that uncomfort because you know that after that it comes the comfort. And there's another amazing book that I read many years ago that is called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
Wallace D. Wattles.
And he speaks in there about the law of contrast. There is a law of contrast that for every bad thing, there's a good thing. So you gotta use the law in your favor, saying that something bad or something uncomfortable happens, you just know that immediately something good's gonna happen, as opposed to what most of us are used to by default in the way how we've been raised, how we've been educated, and how the world is gone, and a number of reasons. When we are too good, we're already looking, it's like, oh, this is too good, something bad's gonna happen. And we start looking for the bad in the good when we should be looking for the opposite, right? And it's like a thermostat, right? Like when you set the thermostat to be at 68 in your bedroom, right? And it's getting too hot, it brings it down to 68. It activates, it goes on, the air conditioner blows and brings it to. So the same thing we are, I think, like that. We are comfortable with certain degree of success, And when so many good things are happening, and it's like, oh, cannot be, you automatically, that thermostat kicks in and you auto-sabotage yourself. You're like, it's too good to be true. That cannot be. I mean, I just closed 3 escrows. I don't think I can close 3 more. And you kind of just start like, your mind starts messing with you and you auto-sabotage yourself.
Sorry, I don't mean to try to keep talking,
jump
but
in.
I think that, one of the amazing things about the business we are in, and for those that we've been doing this for more than 10, 15 years, there's always business in every single place. Like, if you go on that vacation, that might pay the trip. I mean, honestly, I was in Malibu 2 weeks ago. I went to a showing. The showing canceled, and I was like, okay. I was already there. I went to Novo to have lunch. I sat at the bar. I met a guy from New York, and I'm showing houses for 15 million right now. Like, you just gotta look for that every time. Like, not many business you can do that. We have the ability to be in Hawaii on vacation with our family, whatever we are, just take that opportunity to just, do something about it, So